why couldn't we experience heaven on earth? I think that's the journey. I think that's the goal. And I think that so many people are so conditioned to struggle in life and to think that it's so hard and to just survive the next minute, the next day.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Healing Works podcast. We are very excited to be with you, even though we're not with you, but you're hearing us. But we're very excited to get this started. This is the flagship episode, episode 1 of the Healing Works podcast with Altee Dapper and myself, Kevin Dapper.
Hello.
Good to be here. How are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Good.
This is good. This
You're
is
excited?
exciting. We've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Right.
So it's time to get this party started.
It is. It is. So you're all aware, Healing Works, that's our company. Obviously, we're going to name it the Healing Works podcast, but what we focus on are the areas of balance in life, the areas of resilience. So that'll be emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, and then as well, what a lot of people seek is relational and abundance.
But to get to those areas, that would take expansion and growth. And the biggest thing that holds people back from getting to those areas are their mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical blocks.
Right.
So
Right.
we will be discussing how to work through those in a very gentle, effective way, and the tools that we are trained and certified in. And we'll be sharing success stories of past experiences, clients. We're excited to share all of this journey with you. So
Yeah, and a lot of application.
Mm-hmm.
We want this to be a place where you can all follow us and join the journey of figuring out how to be in that state of expansion, how to be in these higher emotional states that we all strive to be in, which is gratitude and compassion, appreciation, care, love, kindness, and the benefits of doing that. But we want this to be more information, and there's going to be a lot of scientific data, a lot of deep science, and we'll keep it, as surface level as possible for relatability and understanding, as well as we want it to be a place of learning, but with application, where what we know is it's all in the application, where it's easy to say, hey, stay positive, or have a growth mindset, or, feel better, or things of that nature. But how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, and if it was so easy, everybody would be doing it. I mean, most people have read self-improvement books, self-help books. They've talked through their problems, and they just don't feel any different. So these are the tools that really shift your state of being and how you think and how you feel. And everything opens up to possibility at that point. So it's exciting.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to say, set high goals or set high standards for yourself, or, strive for excellence and things like that. And there's, some people that can do that. I think it's a very small percentage of people that have done it through sheer, adopting these applicable tools and willpower and determination. But but we want to show you how to, for everybody. I don't believe that people were created to be ordinary. I think everyone was created to be extraordinary.
I agree.
And how do we access that? If everyone's created to be extraordinary, how do we get there? How do we get to that place of expansion, get to that place of growth, to where we're becoming the things and the ideals that we want to become?
Well, and not just through, like you say, sheer willpower and grit. Because a lot of people for those that that accomplish a lot, do it that way, and it's exhausting. It's
Right.
a lot of resistance, and there are people that can dig deep or that have had a lot of resistance in their lives, so they're conditioned to be productive in that way. But our goal is to teach you how to do that in a state of flow and openness, and enjoy the journey and be expanded and connected, not just put your blinders on, grit your way through willpower, because that just becomes very exhausting, and you miss a lot of the beautiful things along that journey when you're in that mindset, or when it's always you're compensating something, maybe time with your family, or maybe, emotions or whatever. You're putting all that on hold to put all your effort and energy into accomplishing something, a goal. And we want to accomplish it while looking at the other areas of your life and being balanced and really enjoying the journey.
So are you saying there's an easier way?
I think so. And that's my preference.
Right. No, yeah.
I mean, I don't like resistance. I don't like contention and conflict. So it plays to my personality type. That's
Right.
probably why I was drawn to this work. 'Cause I'm like, I want expansion, but I'm not built. I'm not super competitive. I'm not built to just with this grit and drive. So I prefer the state of flow. That plays much more to my strengths and my personality type. So that's why I think I was drawn to this work initially, which in the episodes upcoming, probably even the next episode, we'll be sharing our stories. So This is just an intro to kind of let people know what we're doing, what we're starting, the purpose of it, and where we want to go. So
Right, because like the purpose behind a perfect segue into Healing Works and what we do is our purpose really, and help me, is to really help people rid themselves of those emotional blocks. Largely it shows up as the terminology emotional baggage.
right.
Get rid of that emotional baggage that weighs you down. And in physics, we can explain that, but dense emotions are very, very heavy in a vibrational standpoint in the body. And that's why, they do refer to it as emotional baggage in layman's terms, but rid that emotional baggage so we can become lighter and freer and able to do the things that we want to do. And that emotional baggage largely prevents access to the power of the heart. And this combination is what we do is we get rid of that emotional baggage that's holding you back, that's holding all of us back, so we can access the pure and the divine and the extreme power of the heart. And
it's our belief too that it doesn't have to be grueling, it doesn't have to be messy, it doesn't have to be chaotic, it doesn't have to be dark. Which I think that maybe that's why a lot of people are resistant to healing, because it's having to face things that they intentionally tucked away, so they didn't have the coping skills at the time that it was happening to deal with it. And so to drudge all that back up, it's like, yeah, no thanks. I didn't want to experience it the first time it came up. So
I blocked it for a reason.
Exactly. And so with the modalities that we are trained and certified in, it is a very gentle, effective way to identify those blocks, but not in a way to relive them, to talk about it. It's just to identify and then shift and teach you how to do that. And it really can happen very quickly and very gently. So it shouldn't be messy and chaotic. Stuff might come up that maybe you weren't aware of that, might be a little bit of something to deal with, but it shouldn't bring more chaos. It shouldn't bring more anxiety. It shouldn't bring more trauma. It should lighten that load and shift very quickly into a higher emotional state from the heart. And it's very peaceful and very kind, I feel like.
Well, it's something that everyone can do, right? Yeah. This isn't a specified thing that will only work for certain people. And I think that's the beauty of it, is it works for everybody because of the tools and the effectiveness of these tools that we incorporate is that I think there's obviously certain things that work for certain people and in different areas of life, where it comes to, nutrition, or it comes to, training in the gym, or when it comes to, even healing modalities. I think there's, certain things that work for certain people, and that's fantastic. And the point is that everyone should heal and everyone should feel better. Like, we're designed to have joy in this life. We're literally not designed to be, depressed and anxious and worried and resentful and angry all the time. Or not even all the time, but a lot of the time. But we're not, but, and I say but again, we're designed to be joyful. And I think you brought that up. That's something that I think is largely missed when we strive for goals and we strive for creation and we strive for expansion. Is a lot of the time we're so laser focused on an outcome that we miss the beauty of life. We miss the enjoyment. I mean, life is designed to be lived in the present moment, not in yesterday and not in tomorrow, but in present moment and possibility and potentials that exist.
Yep, I totally agree. And one thing that just came to me, that one of the favorite things that's ever been said to me was, I had a guy tell me, not that much has changed and everything is different. Huh. And changing his state of being through this work changed how he looked at everything. And I just thought that that's what this is all about. Is we have so little control of outcomes. We have so little control about world events and how people treat us and their projections and all of that. And we have all these cliche sayings like, be the change you want to see in the world and all of that, but it is true. And when you change from the inside out, we really become invincible to what is going on in the external world, because that peace is coming from within and you look at everything differently. And we'll have my parents on the podcast at some point, and I'm excited for them to share their story. But my dad was telling me the other day, I am living heaven on earth. My life is just so much joy. And I thought, maybe heaven isn't a place we go to. Maybe it's a place we invite in, Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but maybe. And why couldn't we experience heaven on earth? I think that's the journey. I think that's the goal. And I think that so many people are so conditioned to struggle in life and to think that it's so hard and to just survive the next minute, the next day, the next couple years, that there isn't that peace and that joy that we all are really searching for.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, obviously I agree, but yeah, life is so much more beautiful and so much more simple. I mean, we overcomplicate and overcomplexify a lot of things in life, which makes it, seem so chaotic. But when you really look at change, a lot of people are scared of the word change or resistant to change. I mean, we've been largely conditioned to not want to change, but it's simple in the fact that when you look at the power of the heart and you look at change is born in the heart. Change is born in resilience, and resilience is born in the heart. And that's, we go through all the motions and we try and outthink our states and we try and use the power of thought, and that works to a certain extent, but the heart is where all the power lies. That's the essence of our soul. That's the essence of who we are. That's within our heart lies our authenticity.
Right.
And I think that's what's missing in a lot of ways.
I think this world is set up to have to overcome all the physical world to get back to that. And that's again, the journey, right? And so I think that we all get caught up in the physical distractions of the accomplishment. And like we said earlier on, that we want to get to that expansion of relationships and abundance. But really what that does is bring us back to the wholeness that we are. So it's not something we get or do. I mean, people want to make all this money or have all these things to do what? To then feel like all is well. So that's what we want to teach, is how to be in that state no matter what any external circumstances. And then as that stuff comes in, it enhances it instead of that being the replacement for that wholeness.
Right. Because it's not what the mind thinks, but what the heart feels. And we'll get into that. If you're like, well, how's that? We'll get into that. And it takes both, but the heart overrides all of our physiological systems in the body. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that's what we wanted to create this podcast for, is an area where you can come listen and be a part of the journey, but really figure out how to be your authentic self, how to increase your standards, how to increase and hit your goals, how to become the person that does that. Because it's not, we don't get what we think, we don't get what we want, we get who we are. And to create that new person, to create that expansion, like Altee said, is fairly simple with the tools and techniques, and really ridding those negative emotions that are tied to those limiting beliefs and possibility that prevents us from imagining our dream life, imagining the things that we want, that we really desire.
When we want this to be a place that people come, that you guys come to for clarity, for, peace, and, hopefully there's a little bit of everything here, some humor, some, heartfelt, heartwarming stuff, but that it's a place that, when you leave the 45 minutes or hour that you spend with us, that it's, you leave with a new outlook and some ideas on what you can do and some possibilities, applicable tools and some relatable stories, because I think that's what we're all here to do, is to help each other out and remind each other who we are and what we can accomplish. And as you see that possible in other people, it reminds you of that. It reminds, each other of that. And so, I think we'll get into some really, like Kevin said, some deep issues or some deep science of stuff but keep it relatable and understandable, funny, hopefully, and all the things. So, we're just excited about this. We'll get into our stories and into, testimonials and, different things as time goes on. So we're really excited about this. It's been something we've been talking about for a while, because we love our one-on-one sessions and our, the group work that we do, in social media. It just never quite felt right to try to share our message on Instagram. Not that you can't, or not that some of this won't be out there, but to grow a following, that just didn't ever seem the avenue that we were going to go. So it always came back to, we've got to just talk about this stuff on a podcast, have it be a place that people can come and get to know us and feel like they, they understand what we're saying. And hopefully we hear from you guys and some of maybe the subjects you want us to talk about, questions you have that we can answer, and we can be interactive and have this be a place where we can share this information in a place that gives you a little bit of hope for a better future, or better present, really. Yeah,
because it's sometimes difficult to write this out because I talk too much. So I don't know if there's enough room on social media.
To share the message.
But yeah, so to your point, yes, that this is going to be the perfect avenue for us to relate the things that we do and the real world applications and how to, and really getting to that place of peace and love in life. And from that place, really accomplishing the things that we all want to accomplish and just being free, right?
Yep.
And so the two things that we use are Altee certification. You want to talk about your certification?
Sure. I'm certified with.
We probably let them know what we do.
Well, yeah. They're like, cool, what do you do? So I'm certified with the Emotion Code and Body Code systems. We're actually down in St. George, Utah, recording a podcast with Blueform Media Group, who will be, working with us with a podcast and doing different, documenting our journey and, hopefully getting into, we've been doing some corporate presentations, group work, traveling, retreats. We want to share this journey, like we said. And so we're down here, but Dr. Bradley Nelson, who designed or created the Emotion Code and Body Code, actually is from here. Yep. So we'll be having him on our podcast here shortly. But I am certified with the Emotion Code and Body Code, and what those are is just a systems to locate the different emotions and the blocks on what they are, what emotions are trapped and where they're trapped in the body that is creating so much resistance for you. Some of those old emotional traumas and emotional baggage. But we don't want to just remove the emotional trauma and baggage and bring people to a neutral place to cope with life. We want to really teach people how to expand into that heart energy to continue that healing and live the lives that they were designed for, which brings us to you.
Right. And to Altee's point, like removing those emotions and everything is great. But to her point, like it can just bring us to neutral. But where we want to get is to expansion. And like she said, that's where I come in. I'm certified with the HeartMath Institute. HeartMath has studied the correlation and the physiology between the heart and the brain, the neural connections, the nervous system, everything in our physiology and our biology, and how to get into what's called a heart coherent state through some very simple practices, mainly heart focused breathing. And that's something that that we incorporate together. And we really think the combination of the two is honestly one of the most, if not the most effective ways to expand in life. And in a fast pace. In fact, just with the HeartMath tools and techniques and the HeartMath system, we show in 6 to 9 weeks a 56% decrease in depression, a 46% decrease in anxiety, a 24% increase in focus, a 30% increase in sleep scores, a 58% increase in energy levels. But what we really, those two that I mentioned first, a 56% decrease in depression, 46% decrease in anxiety. My goodness, that's what's wreaking havoc on the world right now.
Well, and that's just implementing the HeartMath techniques and the HeartMath tools. So then that's why we love this work together, because they complement each other so beautifully. So when we're really teaching you how to access that coherent state while we're removing the emotions that are standing in the way, like we said, you can just make so much progress so quickly. It's incredible. And there's small shifts that make a massive difference in your state of being. And it's just been so amazing to watch. And that's why we, again, wanted to do this podcast so we can talk about it and share these success stories and let everybody know that healing is possible in such a loving way. And so for us, this is, in our life experience, we'll be sharing our stories with you, why we, with all the work that we've done individually, why we have landed on these two modalities in particular to do the work moving forward. Right.
And I agree. And then the cool part is the heart coherent state, physiologically, and medically, it's called psychophysiological coherence, which means psycho meaning brain, physiological meaning body, the heart and the mind connection. And the state of heart coherence is the optimal alignment between heart, mind, and emotional states, or the state of flow. And that state of flow, and we'll get into it scientifically, produces so many upgraded physiological effects, upgrades biology in the body, upgrades the neurological networks in the heart and the mind. And we really start getting to a place of true expansion. But it does take removing those emotional blocks first, because a lot of people it's tough for a lot of people to feel elevated emotions to a certain extent. And so when we unblock the heart by removing those emotions, and then we can access that power of the heart, get that power of the heart, sending those signals to the brain and really becoming the things that we want to become.
Exactly. And we'll get into conscious versus subconscious and where a lot of those programs are located. But I mean, it's like a computer operating system. And if you've got old files that are bogging down the computer system, we just want to delete those and replace them with an upgrade, with more empowerment. The programs you were running from childhood, into your 30s and 40s and 50s, maybe don't serve you anymore. So, pruning apart those, that connection with emotion, to leave room for better upgraded programs to live your life by. That's what we want to do. So we'll be teaching you all that and talking about all that. And I think that there will be a lot of relatability for you.
Yeah. To your point, subconscious versus conscious beliefs, standards, goals, how we operate, in the most relatable way possible. So, relatability is what, resonates with people. And so that's our goal. And that's what we'll strive to do, is give you information that's relatable so you can take that and use it. And then we'll also have places for you to go to. Like Altee said, we do a lot of corporate speaking events, retreats. We have some groups that we have available as well. So the bottom line is healing works and healing's possible. And we want everyone to experience that. We want everyone to feel as good as they can possibly feel. If you feel good, let's get you feeling great.
I agree.
If you don't feel good, let's get you feeling good. But there's always an increase. We can always become better. We can always feel better. We can always think better. We can always do better. And that's the outline, is how do we do that? And having that intention and having that possibility is where we're going.
Yep. And the phrase we like to use is heal your heart, heal your body, heal your life. And healing works.